And welcome to our Fanatical Elves Network. And we are talking the 53-man roster. The Browns made their final, or for today, they made their picks to get down to their selections to get down the 53-man roster. And we've got the whole crew here tonight. We got Steve Gill. We got the Village Elliott, and Joel Cade. They've all joined in. We are the contributors of the Fanatical Elves Network. We love having these guys. They all have their own shows. So we're going to talk about this 53-man roster tonight. If you were with us last night, thank you again. If you follow along on the Fanatical Elves, Apple, Spotify, Elliot and I had a great show last night where we honored the memorial of Cade York, who is no longer with the team. So let's get into this 53-man roster. There were some players that I know we talked about off air that some of us are surprised by, others are not. And I want all of your takes. So I'm just going to open the floor to anybody who'd like to begin, and we'll go from there.
I got a quick one. The Browns should never draft a guy with my last name as their first name ever again. Ever. Stop it.
I kept thinking about that when I was writing my article the other day. That, you are Cade. Like we need to be. That's kind of
my
bad.
last name is Cade. It's not first name. The stupid Bears drafted Cade McNown when I was in college, and like all my college friends started calling me Cade. Like not my friends, but like my acquaintances, because they thought my first name was Cade.
Did you tell them that? Stupid. Did you tell them you were the killer? That your nickname in high school was the killer? That's kind of okay. That's
the ones
dangerous.
who knew me. The ones who knew me.
You woke up dangerous, feeling dangerous. Okay, I'm sorry.
I was pretty popular on campus in college. I was on console and all that stuff. But some of the fringe thought my first name was Cade, and I just had to go straighten them out.
Now, I think Austin Watkins got cut because he was wearing number 80, the former number of A1 Jarvis Landry. That's why I think the Browns cut. They got mistaken and thought he was Jarvis. Okay, keep going. Whoever wants to talk.
Austin Watkins is an upgrade to. He's an upgrade to Jarvis Landry. Come on.
I was very bent out of shape. And I was going to go on a rant about cutting the NFL receiving yards leader for the NFL preseason. Not just the Browns leader, but the NFL's leading receiver for the preseason. But then I thought, I'm going to look this up and find out what happened in the recent past.
Yes.
And so I looked up what happened in 2022. And so I looked
I'm just amazed that you found this information. This is great.
I'm not.
Yeah, it is. It turns out it's available on Fox Sports if you dig deep enough. But anyway, there was a guy named Lance McCutcheon who was the receiving leader for the NFL for the LA Rams, and he had 259 receiving yards, much like our guy. And then what happened in the regular season? Well, he didn't actually have very many yards at all. He didn't have any yards. And then the next guy was Andy Isabella, who is a respected veteran. He had yards in the past, but he did not have a good year in 2022. In fact, let me just look it up.
Did he play for the hated Baltimore Ravens?
Yes, he did.
But we got to have some hate for them.
And
got to get some hate. Ravens hate. Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Actually, no, I take that back.
He played for the Cardinals.
Yeah, he played two games for Baltimore, and he played 3 games for Arizona. And he had 21 receiving yards last season. So he did not have a great year.
Wow.
So 21 yards and 0 yards. That's not doing so good. And then the number 3
almost
guy,
like Jerome Ford's handoffs and running for 12 yards.
Total carries.
Yeah.
Hey, how many fumbles did the guy have?
Wait a minute. The number 3 guy was Tim Jones. And Tim
had
30 yards on 3 receptions. And he played.
Who was that singer that was named Jones? Who was the famous Tommy Jones? But this is Tim Jones.
It was Tim Jones.
The name Tom ain't unusual.
Okay. Well, Tim had 30 yards.
Yes, somebody got it. Yes, I got it.
Okay, and then the number 4 guy was a fellow named Kendrick Pryor, who played for Jacksonville, and he also had 0 yards.
Okay, I have a question.
The conclusion is that the yardage in preseason does not mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Not. So I think, let's hold our fire.
I'm still pissed off, but okay.
Okay. Hold on.
Steve, I want to hear from Steve. Okay, Joel first.
Yeah. All right. Look. Preseason yards from wide receivers is just as valuable as preseason wins by the Baltimore Ravens. It means nothing.
How many games did they win? Like 25,000 in a row?
Who cares?
Does it matter? What did I tell you about number one rankings in the preseason? It's like a beauty contest for Miss Personality. I mean, come on. Austin Watkins, he did not play special teams. So his role would have been wide receiver number 6 or 7. He more than likely would have been inactive on game days. So what's the point of giving up a roster spot? Simple.
Yes. Well, I and the thing about Austin Watkins, if we're sticking on that topic real quick, and doing the research, and all of you guys have done this. I mean, going back, he hasn't had a good track record since he got into this stage of his career, the professional career.
He's 25.
He's 25. He played for a practice season training camp with, was it Tampa Bay? No. Yes,
I think it was
Tampa Bay, San Francisco, Tampa Bay,
Saskatchewan,
and then he went to Saskatchewan for he was up in Saskatchewan for like a weekend. I was trying, he was there for like 3 days.
Well, I hope he enjoyed himself.
Yeah, I was like, where is Saskatchewan? I mean, what city in Canada is that? That's anyway.
Did he hit a few bars? Maybe.
Yeah. So
nightclub?
Austin Watkins was a real popular. I wrote an article for Fans First, actually, that's coming out after this podcast about the 53-man roster, and I mentioned how many fans that have followed the Browns have been happy that he caught 16 passes for 250 some yards and had a great game against Philly, but he's not with the team now. The Browns might try to bring him back. I suspect that there will be another team that needs a wide receiver and that he will not, but there are some players who were cut, including Dunn and including Maurice Hurst.
Both will be back.
Both will sound like they'll be back because they're veterans, and the way the whole thing works, that once the Browns put a person like a linebacker like Jordan, I can't even pronounce his last name,
Kanashik,
when they put him on IR and
Wright,
then they can bring those two guys back. So they'll probably manage to be on that squad. So there's going to be still a lot of maneuvers. So I just want to continue, other moves, those are a couple moves that I saw. Two players that we've talked about many times over these podcasts, Anthony Schwartz. I know you're all really sad about that. And Demetric Felton, who this was a 6th round pick out of UCLA a couple years back. They played him a ton in preseason, but you just never got the sense that he was going to get a spot with Elijah Moore on the team now. So those are some of the topics. Anybody?
I want to bust topic right now.
Uh-oh.
I want to know why John Kelly Jr. keeps coming back to Browns camp. I want to figure this out. Like, is he trying to bolster his preseason Hall of Fame numbers? Like, he comes in, gets a ton of carries, and gets cut every year.
Yeah.
Why does he come back?
Well,
I mean, you got to figure. I don't know. Have we looked at contracts for him and how that works for these guys that come in? I mean, they've got to be making a pretty good chunk of change.
No,
I'm being rhetorical.
Not really.
It's off the thing with Demetric Felton, right? Felton's a 6th round pick. The Browns trade for this guy, Pierre Strong Jr. He makes the team. And these people who've been in camp all the time don't make the team.
Now, I will stand up for Pierre because I talked to Elliot about this last night on our show. Pierre Strong I liked the kid a year ago, and I thought the Browns would pick him up instead of Jerome Ford. So
he was picked before Jerome Ford.
He was right, and I was disappointed. He was a jackrabbit out of South Dakota State, and I think it's a great move. I think that you can't go wrong with that. I think it was a solid pick. I mean, the Patriots were the ones who picked him up. Bill Belichick. I mean, I agree, Joel. I understand these guys. They spend the whole camp with the team, and then they get yanked off of it at the end. But
I'm being rhetorical. I understand why he comes back, but
okay.
Yeah, he's hoping somebody would pick him up at some point, even if it's not the Browns. But I get it. But maybe you should just sign with a different team to maybe have a chance to make the roster.
If somebody wants him,
let me ask you this:
maybe
look?
Another team wants him.
Can we look at Dearness Johnson? Did anybody hear about him today? Jacksonville Jaguars. Did he make the final cut with them?
I have not seen it.
I'll let you know in just a minute.
I will tell you this: I think Jarvis Landry is still a free agent.
And you know who else is?
I hear his numbers open.
Kareem Hunt. Now that they put Jonathan Taylor on the 4-week, well, he's going to go somewhere else. But
Yeah, Dearness Johnson is, as far as we know, is still on the team.
Okay.
In Jacksonville, yes.
Good. One of my favorite past Browns. You know, Pierre Strong, speaking of which, he did have one nice game, Joel, against the Cardinals. He had 5 carries for 70 yards, that included a 44-yard burst and a 3-yard touchdown score in that game. It was one game out in the desert, but
I guess my only question about Pierre Strong is can he return kicks?
He did in college, but not that.
There we go. I'm just trying to figure out because the Bengals decided that they were going to cut their kick returner, Trent Taylor, who averaged like 20 yards a return.
Right.
So I think I'm thinking the Browns are carrying 6 wide receivers, which I think is
pick
low.
him up. Yes.
And I think maybe we should cut one of these linebackers and pick up Trent Taylor.
Yeah, they have 7 linebackers, which is
why are they carrying 7 linebackers?
Okay.
Well, what's his name?
It's going to go on IR.
Yeah, it's going to go to IR, and it's either going to be Hurst or Dunn.
And do the Browns typically carry, like, I think they're got 11 or 13 cornerback?
11 in the secondary.
11.
They usually carry 10, 5 and 5. 5 safeties, 5 corners, but they have an extra one.
What about okay.
Let's talk about. I just want to know who's going to return kicks. Who's returning kicks?
Me too. Good question.
How about Ronnie Hickman? Let's let Ronnie Hickman do it.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I think that there's a very good chance that they would sign somebody on the practice squad and give that guy a temporary promotion. And, it could be Demetric Felton that returns kicks for the Browns from the practice.
Please, no. Please, no.
I don't want to see that again.
I think the Browns should just go out there and, get Trent Taylor and just let's move on with life.
Yeah.
I agree.
So let me ask you this. The Browns picked up their field goal kicker yesterday in Dustin Hopkins, but today the New England Patriots cut Nick Foles.
No, they traded him.
They traded him. That's right.
Yeah,
they
traded
3
him kickers
for a 2025 7th-round draft pick, just like the Browns.
If the Browns had just waited, they could have brought in Nick Foles. Not that, I mean.
I'd rather have this guy. 84.4% accuracy.
But you're also to get to about the 25 before you can make a field goal attempt because his 50-50, over 50 yards is 50-50. So he's not going to be kicking long field goals. His percentage over 40 yards is okay, but not
it's
great.
Decent. Yeah.
He's going to have.
Yeah, but he's good on. He's only missed 2 game-winning kicks in the last 2 minutes in overtime, and one of those was a 62-yarder.
Unlike Cade York, who's done 2 for 2.
Pressure.
I like that take. Good take right there from Steve Gill, man. He's bringing it today. He's got
this is in contrast to Cade York, who was blown 2 games in 2 preseason weeks. I mean, if he was on the Ravens, he'd never see the light of day again.
Well, we talked about Jason. What's
I love
Jason
my
Tucker
kickers. You know
last
what I
night?
mean?
Well, Elliot, you and I were talking about Tucker, the greatest Baltimore Raven of all time, right?
Well, I think he's one of the best kickers of all time. There's no question about it. And we have, I was really objecting to Browns fans that were comparing our guy to Tucker. I thought that was completely off the wall. And, I took a lot of personal grief from our beloved Browns fans over that. And I take that with, a little bit of humor.
Yes.
Frankly, fans, I was right and you were wrong. He's not. Our guy was not Justin Tucker. They did not cut Justin Tucker after his rookie season. Now, I think, there's a chance that we could sign him to the practice squad, and it might make sense on certain days to promote him as a temporary second kicker. And the way that you might use him is that if you had a desperation situation where you had the opportunity to kick a 60-yard field goal, you might let him take a shot at it.
Yeah.
And
Elliot, how do you say that with a straight face? I want to know.
Because our guy can't kick 60-yard field goals.
Well, neither can Cade York. So why are we entertaining?
No, he can kick 60
Okay, have you watched him kick a 60-yard? I mean,
as a matter of fact, he's done it.
He's going to low drive it. It's going to get blocked.
He won a game by
like 100 years ago.
All right, so let me
He
ask
did
you
it
this.
before.
Let me go through this. I just want to go through.
I think you could possibly rehabilitate the lad. You know, I'm saying it's not out of the question.
We're going to come back and talk about
But
Cade
he
later.
can't be the regular kicker. That's what I'm saying. But
I
he
want to
could
go through.
be-
Elliot, I want to
Go
go
ahead.
through this list of cuts, some of the names on here, and I just want to get your evaluation from all you guys. I know, Steve, I'll mention this first name, Jalen Darden, the wide receiver, Demetric Felton.
Didn't play.
We've got the safety, Tanner McAllister. I believe he was a former Buckeye.
He'll get picked up by somebody.
Tight end, Zaire Mitchell Payton.
So yeah,
The defensive
and
end, Lonnie.
I like that guy. I want him on the practice squad. I think
he's a practice squad guy. Yeah.
I'd rather have tight
Okay.
ends than wide receivers. Thank you very much. We are understaffed at tight end.
Defensive tackle, Tommy Togiai.
I love him. What
Yeah.
we need to have.
He was the
defensive
odd man out.
tackles.
I mean, I think
Yep.
back in April said he was the odd man out. Like,
Mhm.
Shelby Harris was that when they signed him.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was-
We're overstaffed
Bye-bye,
at the
Tommy.
position, so we didn't have a slot for him. But I think he can play. Yes.
Okay, we're going to keep talking about this roster. We're going to pause for a quick break here on the Fanatical Elves Network. We're talking about the 53-man roster today. We will be right back, everybody. We're going to pause for those commercials. All right, we're back. We're back on the Fanatical Elves Network, and I want to share something. This is a great contest. We're going to talk about the Fanatical Elves, or not the Fanatical, the Fans First Sports contest. We've been talking about it all week here on the Fanatical Elves Network and across all of the platforms that are part of Fans First.
Are you a
great-
fan of an NFL team?
Are you? Yeah. Are you a fan? Are you guys a fans? You are, aren't you? Yeah. Well, this contest, you go to contest .fansfirstsports.com and you go there and you sign up, you register, and you are in the drawing for 4 free tickets to any NFL game on week
Week
week one, like in less than 2 weeks, up to a $5,000 value. They're going to pull the name of the winner later this week, I believe September 4th, over this Labor Day weekend. Well, they'll probably have the announcement that day or the next day on September 5th. So if you want to enter, go to contest.fansfirstsports.com and enter for 4 free tickets. It's an awesome deal. We can't do that here at the Fanatical Elves Network because we're not rich yet, but they can do it at Fans First Sports Network. And we would love for you to win and be a Brown fan and be able to go to the Browns versus Cincinnati Bengals game against Joe Schmo in week 1. So go do that.
So what are you waiting for? Do it right after this show.
Yes.
Do it.
Go for it.
All right. Anything else that we're, some of the various moves? I know a lot of people have talked today about Ronnie Hickman. There were 2 undrafted free agents the Browns picked up, Ronnie Hickman and our linebacker, which I'm not going to pronounce the name. I'm going to let one of you guys.
Diabete.
And they are both now in the final 50. This version of the 53-man roster. Very exciting. I'm writing about those 2 in one of my next articles from Northeast Sports Insiders, and I wanted your evaluations on those players. We can just go around the room. Steve, you want to start?
They deserved it. They played themselves onto the roster.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. Diabete is he's all over the place. He's not really good in space, but you can already see he recognizes the game. He's fast to the ball, and that's Jim Schwartz, the type of linebacker right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like they were talking about him in the last preseason game when they had, was it Paul Desperado or whatever his name? They were talking.
Paul D. Podesta?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Paul Desperado.
Desperado.
Sorry. Oh man.
Okay.
This is the Fanatical Elves Network, and I'm screwing this up. So yeah, they were talking about it during the game and how he did fit into that system for Jim Schwartz. I'm gonna let you guys talk. I'm gonna put me on mute here.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what I was going to say is that we tend to really like the wide receivers because we hear their name called a lot during the game. And it's always appalling to hear that we've cut at wide receiver. But if they were really that good, we would make a trade and get something in return. If we have a roster problem, which is what we had, there are 6 guys on the team that we think are very, very good. We thought about having 7.
Yeah.
And maybe we would have gone that way. But if these receivers were really that good, we would have traded for a tight end or a running back because we're understaffed. 3 running backs is not enough. We really would like to have somebody that can return kicks. And we could have used another tight end because we still like to run the 2 tight end formation a lot. And we also like to have a fullback. We're using tight ends like fullbacks, at least in the preseason.
Jack Duffin spoke. He put out a stat earlier today about our wide receiver, David Bell. I don't know if any of you saw that on the X.
I did.
But David Bell was one of the best against one-on-one matchups. He had a lot, like 120 matchups in one-on-one situations last season, and he got open 45% of the time.
He gets open, yes.
Yeah. So
he doesn't make a lot of yards, but he gets open and he catches it if you throw it at him.
I think that was one of the complaints about Austin Watkins. Some people were saying that Watkins wasn't getting open as much as, and he was going against second and third teamers in preseason. So
I think that's the major complaint is that in preseason, you can't get too fired up about what happens against the second and third teams, and they're not playing really the best defensive formations that they have. So you can't get too worked up about second half and third quarter, fourth quarter performances.
Yeah.
But I think he will catch on. He'll be playing in the NFL in some form or fashion.
It just seems, the whole system, I know Joel, you can speak. I know we've talked about this part with their defense. It just seemed like even though the Browns were playing against, I get that they were playing against second, third teamers against the Chiefs the other day. It just seemed that for a preseason game, especially that beginning of the game, and these guys know they're only going to play a series or 2. They were really engaged, and it just seemed like they were really honing in more so than other Browns teams we've watched over the years. So I think the fan base is super excited to see exactly, are we going to get 2 or 3 turnovers? Are we going to return to that time when we controlled the turnover ratio? I think we had that back in 2020. So I just think it just seemed different watching it. And it's got me excited.
Right.
But I get excited about a lot of things.
Part of the double gap scheme requires that people run to the football. All right. If you get into a single gap scheme, you're going upfield into a gap. Talking about linemen, right?
Yeah.
So when you get a double gap scheme, your idea is to engage, read, react, and run to the football. So that's a change from get into the gap and just go upfield. So when you're going upfield, you're just trying to disrupt. You're not trying to gang tackle or swarm tackle. So what we're seeing differently is that you have 11 guys running to the football because that's how that defense works. If you don't have 11 guys running the football, it's not going to work. If you watch, say, the Jets, their defense, or the 49ers, they have people running upfield and not everyone's running to the football because that's not the way that defense works. So I think what we're seeing is a lot of swarming to the football, and I think that's a byproduct of that style of defense, which I personally enjoy watching. And I think fans are going to enjoy watching it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good take.
I did want to jump on this Diabate. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Is he
Sounds pretty good.
Runs a 4.5 That's what I'm excited for. He runs fast.
Oh, okay.
He runs
You know
fast.
who I'm really excited about is Martin Emerson. No one's talking about this kid Martin Emerson in his second year. This kid is going to take off. I can't wait to see what he does in this defense this year. I just can't wait.
Yeah, I'll tell you, one of the things that I'm very interested in is, we always get excited about the preseason and talk about, man, our organization is so deep this year.
Yeah.
And we said that about the 2017 Browns that went 0-17 or 0-16, I mean. But
I don't think we did, Elliot.
But, some people
I don't
did.
think we said that.
We didn't, but some people did.
I
But
didn't.
one of the things that will be very interesting to find out is how many Browns get claimed on waivers.
Good point.
And I don't know how many it will be. I think there will be some, maybe 2, maybe 3.
Yeah.
But that would be a good sign that says, "Oh, we are." In
Is
fact,
there
those
somewhere that we can monitor that? Anybody know if there's a spot where, online where we can monitor where those players that
Oh.
have been waived?
It's
Where
called
they get-
Twitter.
No, it's
Yeah,
called
we'll-
X.
We'll figure it out for you. Just keep on watching our show, and we'll tell you all about it. Watch
Well, we're
your-
really excited. I know this week, and I know we're gonna be leaving here in a few minutes. But again,
Yeah,
this week,
let me say one
yeah,
more thing.
yeah, Elliot, yep,
That-
yeah.
that
I wasn't done.
This 53 player roster is not the final 53 player roster, because the Browns are probably going to claim some players off of waivers also.
Yeah.
And right now, the roster is a little bit unbalanced. There's still
Yeah.
room to add a running back.
Mhm.
There's really
Wide receiver.
No, we have a right number of wide receivers. Actually, we
Yeah,
probably
6.
could use an extra tight end, perhaps. There's probably a shortage of offensive linemen. You'd maybe like to have 10 if you could.
Need another guard.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
And we have maybe one more linebacker than we really need. One more safety than we actually need.
Yeah.
And so we can kind of
Yeah.
move things around a little bit.
Well, now Joel, you and Elliot are going to be doing. Do you have your Browniacs later on this week? Is that are we?
Yeah,
doing
that'll
that
be tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
All right,
And
and I just finished What the Elf Was That, where we talked about
Woo!
all these issues and all my.
we're going to
takes.
push that. I think we'll have that pushed out first thing tomorrow. We'll have that for the fans. And then you're going to do the Browniacs. Steve, you got any more shows coming up? I know you just did the Dog Pound South. Really good. I tell you, those fans outside of Cleveland are listening to your show, Steve.
Good.
They are
They
listening,
should.
and you're getting a following. So I love
I
it.
got my email today from the Middle Tennessee Browns backers.
Mm,
Another year, in
excellent.
the same location.
Now,
Looking
as a
forward to it.
as a season ticket holder here in Cleveland, they are supposed to be giving us earlier in the spring that they were going to order us starter jackets as our gift. So that would be a little bit nicer than the painter hat, $3 painter hats that I have located up here. I went on a rant the other day. I don't know if you heard me on my one show. We talked about how the Kansas City Chiefs season ticket holders received $200 really nice paperweights that were looked in the shape of the actual Super Bowl ring. It's a paperweight, but it's a $200 paperweight. And a little bit, the Browns have done some nice things in the past. When I started being a season ticket holder, we got some nice coolers, like insulated coolers that you could put multiple things in and drinks and foods and stuff.
Your
So
soft drinks and sandwiches.
yes, my soft drinks and sandwiches. Anyway, so we got
What do you want? What do you
I
want? Do you want a $10 doorstop? Is
No.
that what you're looking for here?
I'm excited about getting the starter jacket. That's all. I just wanted to mention that I'm getting the starter
be.
jacket. Joel, you
Just
look like
rubbing it in. No, I
Yeah.
got something I want to say before we jump off. I don't know if we're getting to the wrap up piece, but I just want to take this opportunity to rub it in everyone's face that I told you so when it comes to Jordan Elliott. Everybody's, let's cut Jordan Elliott. Let's cut Jordan Elliott. Let's cut Jordan Elliott. And all he's done is gone out there and be on the first team, which he may or may not stay on the first team. He's gone out there. He's balled out in preseason. He's balled out in camp. He's stayed on
Yeah.
the first team.
Yeah.
He's finally had a chance
What?
to use his skill set, and he has proven his worth.
Okay,
So,
so
in
Joel,
your
let me-
face, everybody.
Joel, why did they use him so much in the preseason? A lot of people thought that they were using him because that he wouldn't be with the team, and they just wanted him to use up a spot. Why was that? Like, he was one of the few starters from the past that they actually played in the preseason games more than some of the other starters. Why do you think that was?
Because he came into the NFL with a certain skill set. Then you try to teach him something completely different for his whole NFL career. He's going to need some time to get back to what he's doing. So the more reps you can get him, the better. Second of all, I mean, defensive tackle was a competition.
Yeah.
It's not like it wasn't, right?
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jordan Elliott's NFL comparison coming out of the draft was Maurice Hurst, and he's on the
Mhm.
roster.
Mhm.
So there's a battle going on for that tackle
Yeah.
position, and I think
Now he was
Jordan
released.
Elliott won that.
Hurst was
he'll be
released,
back.
but he'll be back.
He'll be back.
What about
Which,
Denzel?
let
I
me
know.
let me stay on that. Let me stay
yeah.
on that. Which
Okay.
should tell you what the Browns are looking for and their 3 technique as a defensive lineman. You've basically got 2 people who do the exact same thing. You know, one guy coming out of Michigan, they ran a double gap scheme when he was there, and he was really
Mhm.
dominant. Jordan Elliott was dominant at Missouri when he ran that same scheme. So that should tell you what they're looking for in linemen: big body guys who are agile and quick first steps.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
Hurst might wind up with another team, I think.
Not unless they got a wink, wink, nod, nod deal with him. So,
Okay.
Well,
oh, he's a veteran, so he can't really be claimed. He can sit back and wait.
Mhm.
So,
Speaking of waiting, how long are we waiting for Denzel Ward? Where are we at with him? Or is he
what is this? Concussion number 8?
4,
I-
5? It's probably that's 4
4
or 5 that we
4 or
know
5.
of. But you go back and we don't know how many he had in college or high school. I'm just really, I've never
Thank
been
God
a
they
big,
drafted Martin
yeah.
Emerson.
but Elliot looked at his contract last night. We were talking about Denzel a little bit,
Oh.
especially in off air, and that contract is a stickler, right? Elliot, we were saying, yeah.
It would be. It's impossible to simply release him. That's not going to happen. He's
Yeah.
going to be a Cleveland Brown for at least the next 2 years, and it's big dollars the next 2 years.
Yeah, it's a big chunk of change up front.
So
Yeah.
I think they really have to be smart about it. I don't like to play doctor and tell how to manage a concussion, but you might suspect that it would be prudent to wait a long time before you use him.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no rush. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, final takes tonight. I know we've covered a lot. We've talked about a lot of different players. This is great to have the whole crew here. Fanatic Elves Network, we are growing by leaps and bounds. This is our 2nd straight month where we have surpassed our downloads from the previous month. And as we're getting into the season, folks, that's just awesome news. And we love the fact that you're spreading the word. I talk to people every day about our network. I'm in a new school and get to share out what we do here. And if you love the Browns, you love to follow us. I know we're a bunch of old guys that talk Browns, but we got some youth here too, a little bit. I think Joel's probably the youngest of the crew, maybe. I know, but we got some younger youth coming on board too. So we've got another young guy that we've talked about here who's
Younger
joined us.
youth?
I'm sorry, a younger guy named Sam. Some of us know Sam, the podcaster from Arlington, Texas. He will he's going to be continuing to help with our podcasting. He's going to bring his podcast to our network starting during the season. So we're excited. He breaks down the Browns. Young, 15 or 16-year-old young man, just getting into the podcasting world. So thanks
I got
again.
a pair of shorts older than him.
Yeah, Jesus. Anybody have final words before? That's a pretty good way to end the show, but
I have a final thought. Jalen Smith of Notre Dame has been cut. I think the Browns should take a look.
there you go.
All right.
Now, there was one other name that Dog Pound Daily, our sergeant in chief at Dog Pound Daily, mentioned today. I think it was Trey Sermon, the former Buckeye.
Yeah,
Play
he
with
got
the Eagles? Yeah.
he got cut as well.
Could
Can he
be
catch?
Oh,
He
and
needs to catch the
also
ball.
Kareem Hunt is still out there. I'm hearing that Indianapolis Colts
Shocker.
are
Breaking news.
Running back who's lost a step, still available to be signed.
that's right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for following us here on the Fanatical Elves Network. We will catch up with you next time. Tune in. We got shows. We got this week, What the Elf Was That's going to be coming out tomorrow, maybe even tonight. I'm going to talk to you, Joel, off air here because we also have Rod Bloom with the Browns Blitz. They did a special show tonight as well. So we are bringing you guys info. We're bringing you entertainment. You can't miss a beat. If you follow us, subscribe, on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Bam, you're hearing us all day long. It's great stuff. Have a good night.
Like I say to all you out of town Browns fans, if you're going to sign up to NFL Ticket on YouTube, subscribe. It's easy.
Thank you guys. Happy Browns Day. Happy 53-man roster day. We'll catch up next time. Go Browns.
Go Browns.
Go Browns.
Go Browns.
Go
Here we go, Browns.